Welcome to the KM Builders Remodeling Design Show. I'm Keith Moehle and glad to be with you this Saturday along with Morgan
Moehle Roberts.
I think I got the wrong mic on. We switched from the other side from last week. How's that?
Morgan Moehle Roberts is here.
All right. And we are going to have a very interesting topic that we'll be following up with in the coming weeks, a little bit related to it, but we're going to be talking about what, Morgan? What's our topic?
Remodeling pitfalls.
Remodeling pitfalls. So in the upcoming weeks, we're going to be talking about common remodeling problems, but that's different angle. That's from what a contractor does wrong. And what we're talking about today is pitfalls to avoid from the homeowner's point of view. What you can do to avoid some real serious problems, and we would like to keep you from making some of these mistakes. And we would be glad to take your calls also live at 737-1200 or 1-800-383-WOAI. And so we are going to be talking about that and any questions you have about remodeling. This is a forum where we like to offer some helpful advice, keep you from making a mistake, and hopefully educate you a little bit on some things. I know today's program will send you some good, useful information about what to do when you start your remodeling project. And actually it all starts way before. So we're going to be talking about common pitfalls in remodeling. And we did have a laying contractor segment this week. Morgan, you want to tell us about it?
Well, we have this one's a kind of a funny one. So if you can see it on the live video on our Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube, somebody built a driveway that's, I'd say, how many degrees angled is that?
It's about looks like it's at least a 45 degrees.
It's ridiculous. And so it says that there's no way that you can get your car in or out without denting the front or the back.
That's exactly right. Unless you had
but your sledding game will be on point.
So that's a home builder.
Funny.
That's a home builder, yeah. And you constantly see things that don't make sense and people doing things that are wrong. If it doesn't look right, don't let your contractor continue on. Stop it. Get someone else who has advice, who can give you free advice on that. We'll certainly do that for you. And if you'd like us to take pictures and put it on our social media, and Morgan and Justin will help us do that. So, let the world be the judge. That's what we do. We show pictures. We are not afraid to point out what's going wrong because we want this to change for you. We want you to be protected, and sometimes you have to stop things right in the middle of it. You can avoid a lot of bad decisions, but sometimes you just made a mistake, and we'll try to help you through it. So if you ever would like to tell us about a problem you're having with a contractor, we will certainly give you a fair assessment of what's going on at no charge, and probably be able to encourage that contractor to do the right job if he is indeed not doing it correctly. Sometimes things happen on jobs, and we'd be the first one to tell you that, if that were the case. But so let's see how we can avoid some of these problems today by getting into our section on mistakes in remodeling to avoid, which is, we're going to say, common pitfalls to avoid. So one of them has to do with delaying decisions. Whenever you get into a contract with someone, you delay decisions, the project can take forever. So you definitely want to get everything lined up ahead of time and be working with someone who wants you to make all your decisions up front. One thing that a lot of people don't realize is that if you delay decisions, it starts putting more control in the power of the contractor, because you're changing things, and prices can change a whole lot easier if you are indeed changing the terms of the contract. So it puts a lot of power in the hand of the contractor. Some contractors will take advantage of that because you've changed it and now prices are going to go way up. So be real careful about delaying decisions, or because in some cases that just the waiting can cost money, and at the very least it can really make you unhappy.
That's what I was going to ask. So could it be that they lose more money because of the prices just change?
Yes, and in today's world, lumber has gone up 19%. What we were quoted a year ago is 19% different on lumber than it is today. Now, we will only pay 4.5% because of our agreement with the Texas Custom Builders Guild, offset a lot of that cost. But in a typical contract, that can really cost a homeowner eventually. And if it costs you, if it only costs the contractor, well, it might really hurt his chances of being successful on the project. So you wouldn't want to do that to him. But it's a lot of times a homeowner may not realize that a decision delayed really affects a lot of things down the line. Changing a sink can delay the granite installation. That delays the plumbing installation, that delays the backsplash, that delays maybe finish touch-ups and the painting and so forth, maybe the flooring, because they don't want to be walking on brand new flooring. Sometimes delaying a decision means exactly that you're having to work over other products later, and you can possibly damage some high quality finishes. You do not want to be doing things out of the wrong order, if at all possible, in your remodeling project, because there's a reason why that order is supposed to be maintained.
Like if they chose the sink too late, but they already cut the hole for the granite or something like that.
That's another good example. Yeah, there's a lot of ramifications of that. So we would definitely want to encourage you to make your decisions and to make them quickly. A common mistake too is not ordering enough of a product. A client may not want to pay any extra. They may be on a tight budget. But when it comes to ordering product, you need to make sure that you have enough. Now, I've had clients, wonder if we ordered extra, was that theirs? Now, it depends on what your contract is. If you're actually paying for the product and it's specified, this is how much you were putting in for the product, and then that shows up on the job, then it is yours. But if a contractor like we do, we go ahead and buy enough to make sure that the job is finished, then don't get upset if there's more left over. Now, we may be able to take that back, and it doesn't mean that you were necessarily charged for it. It could be that that's what we wanted to do to make sure we could do our job for you. And a lot of times there's a little extra flooring left, there's a little extra tile left, and so forth. But that is a whole lot better than being short. Die lots can run short, sometimes delays in getting that little bit of extra. So it would be best if you even talk to your contractor about ordering extra flooring, extra tile, because if there's something that goes wrong, even later on, if a repair is ever necessary, you're not going to be able to get that.
That's what I was thinking. You might chip your floor or something, and then it's not going to be the same color.
Yeah, if it was a tile floor, you chip it. If it's a wood floor, it gets wear, or it gets water damage, and if you need to do a significant portion of it, normally we recommend at least 2 boxes of wooden flooring. Any type of flooring, yeah, at least 2 boxes of any type of flooring. And if your contractor is willing to give you 3 or 4, then take it and store it. Put it in a place. And certain things need to be stored in different places. Like wood should be stored in a place that doesn't have high humidity. And tile can be stored anywhere. Porcelain tile, just don't put chemicals on top of it. Set things on it or let it absorb anything through the bottom. Gets in a stone product. Like if you have wash out a garage and there's moisture or something leaks in there, it can absorb that oils, or it can absorb the moisture. It can be stained by moisture. So you would want to be careful where you store it. But don't make the mistake of ordering it too tight. When you order it too tight, or your contractor orders it too tight, you've got problems. Now sometimes it's not an issue at all. You can get more, and they know that. But in the end, by the time the job is done, you definitely want to have extras in there. So we're going to talk more about pitfalls in remodeling. When we come back, we're going to take a little break, and we'll be right back to the KM Builders Remodeling and Design Show.
Man, it's loud. It's not loud for you?
What?
It's not loud in your ears?
Yeah. I turned it down right after you took yours off.
No, I meant even while we're doing it. Buddy McGraw says hello. So which ones are we gonna do in the next segment?
I'm definitely not doing this, insisting on running that house.
I was gonna change it. I thought you could change it to quartz. There's a lot of people insist on quartz. I really liked the doing too trendy. Assuming you want hardwood floors, I like
We'll
that
do that
one
right
too.
after what's trending with Morgan.
Okay.
I'm not doing number 9. I'm doing number 4.
Yeah, but I thought you were going to change it to quartz.
Nah. It's so popular on the. We get missing. Yeah. Yeah. Drops. There we go. They don't know. What is it? Block. Show me.
See what Brandon said. Sledding game? Really?
Did you see the photo?
I said, I thought we blocked you. We forgot to tell him no Tom Petty.
I like that. David Moehle.
Yeah. See, it's so loud.
Welcome back to the KM Builders Remodeling Design Show, and thank you, Tracy. We like burning down the house. We like Tom Petty, but I don't like David Bowie. I'm sorry if I offend anyone out there, but tell the little story. Tell the little story about the last barbecue we had.
We had a barbecue last weekend, and I had my playlist on, and I heard a David Bowie song come on the playlist, and I immediately turned over to my dad, and as soon as
To watch me. You were watching me, and I didn't know
because
this.
he didn't know the song at all.
And I didn't know you were watching me either.
And you had never heard I don't think you've heard this song.
I've never heard it before.
As soon as David Bowie started singing, you made a beeline straight to the phone to skip it. Oh my goodness.
And turned it and skipped it, and then
Skipped
later
it.
on she told me it was David Bowie, and I go,
No wonder.
No wonder. I do like Rebel Rebel.
That's it.
I do like that. So you can play that one, Tracy. That is one that I do like. To me, that's the only kind of rock style song that he ever did. The rest were just, I don't know, just not my style. Very different. I guess I
Moonage
like.
Daydream was the one that you skipped.
What was it?
Moonage Daydream. Look it up.
Well, just the sound of it is weird. I mean, it just sounds weird. I don't like weird, okay? I do not like weird. I like hard, I like fast, I like crazy. I like weird. That's not my style. There's probably, I don't know his music that well. I wasn't exposed to that. But you and Jared like him a lot, must be talented. Okay, so we are talking about pitfalls in remodeling, and we are glad. One of the things that stands out is our first segment. What's our next segment?
I have a little text message from our clients, and I just text. Is this one okay to read?
Yeah, I remember that one.
And Keith Moehle is one of our project managers. You guys came up with that is wonderful. I appreciate the expertise you and your crew brings to the table. I really do not have a clear picture of the customizing and modifications of the materials that you are doing. That's just me, and I'm sure this is because I have zero creativity or skill in carpentry. However, I know that you guys are experts and do know what you're doing. Totally trust y'all. Have a good weekend, and we'll see you next week.
That was awesome. Awesome. I sent you a
screenshot
of that because it's just an example, and we get those so often, and I'm going to be sending them to you all the time, as I've told you, but we want to just let you know how you can feel in a remodeling project. One of the latest ones we've got said that it was fun and they felt safe. And this was an elderly couple, so we'll be sharing those with you from time to time. Well, back to the subject of pitfalls. One of the ones that fall in your budget, and that's mentioned also by Property Brothers, Jonathan and Drew Scott. We were doing a little research on this subject. That was one of the ones they said too. I had it on my list, is you want to make sure that I've always said this, people are worried about spending too much, but what they need to be worried about is spending too little.
Why do you say that?
Well, it's not like a car that will, well, no, most new out, right? If you spend less luxury.
Oh, that's true.
You spend more to buy luxury or maybe some equipment. Now, a comparison would be a truck. If you say truck to do this with it, a diesel, but you buy a good, and you're going to spend less and you're going to get a truck, but it's not going to perform the thing in two ways. One is it's not going to perform in the day people are shortcutting. The products can wear out, they will not last as long. But an even bigger reason that most people are thinking I want to spend too much is because I won't get it back and the retail value of the house. And that's where I think a lot of people make, if a person home, that it's okay to